Hi, everyone. So yes, I went on Facebook Live to tell you that we had technical difficulties. So I'm here with Stephanie, and we're gonna do this, and then you're gonna see it later. But it's all gonna be good because you're gonna be able to ask questions if you have questions, and we're able to share this link. So I'm very excited to talk to Stephanie because Stephanie is she came to us at the beginning of the year for our February retreat, and she's like, she walks into the room and it's like, oh, it's Stephanie. Like, it's just like light coming into a room. So I just love that energy. And also, I've never been so excited about essential oils. It's like, Stephanie essential oils, it's like happiness. So this is why you guys have to come and hear Stephanie talk about essential oils. So welcome, Stephanie. And I'm very excited that you're coming to Bliss again.
Thank you. I am so excited and honored to be a part of the Bliss family. And I can't say enough of my first Bliss weekend. The food was impeccable, thanks to Gabby.
I had nothing to do with that.
You didn't do that? Yes, you did. Well, you led all of us in the kitchen, which was fantastic. So my name is Stephanie Schreiber, or some people might know me as Stephanie Jennings. I have a bit of a dual alias. And I'll just give you a little bit of history sort of on myself and my background. So I am a retired naturopathic doctor. I practiced clinically for 14 years. And in my last few years of clinical practice, I actually got very run down. I was doing a very poor job at self-care. I had introduced a baby into our family. And I had a cancer-focused practice, and life was really, really busy and very emotional as well. So I sort of let myself slip in the emotional, mental self-care department, which is quite easy for women these days to do when we're meeting the needs of everyone else. And I ended up going from the doctor to the patient. So I experienced sort of signs and symptoms of burnout. I had to go off my clinical practice for a few months just so that I could recover myself. And fortunately, I was able to do that. I had the great fortune of having that opportunity to do that. And that's where I was introduced to essential oils. So 1 year ago, I made a huge life decision that I would leave my clinical practice and that I would educate about essential oils full time. So I'm really passionate to speak with women because I really feel like, for me, I always had an interest in natural health, but you don't necessarily need to start with an interest in natural health to use essential oils, but it's such a beautiful segue and bridge into greater self-care. And that's what Bliss is all about, is about pressing pause and taking that break for 48 hours just to calm and rejuvenate and restore yourself. And we're so excited. I hope that everyone watching this will register right away as soon as we get off this video.
And let me ask you, I want to back to two things that you mentioned, because it's very important since you mentioned about self-care. And I've seen it, it's very interesting that as health practitioners, because we are conscious about, what you said, helping others, not just family, but once you've taken that step to become a natural health practitioner, right? And you went through school and you know what like body, mind has to do, to then not be able to take care of yourself, even though you have to, right? Like, what was that like to feel that you know the tools, what it is that you're supposed to do, but you just go so in the go, what was that dichotomy in your head? Because there's got to be something that conflict with it, like, oh, I know I need to self-care, but I'm so busy and so in the go because I want to help so many people.
Yeah, it was a really crazy time in my life, to be honest. So I think not only as natural healthcare practitioners or health practitioners in general, we have a very high rate of burnout because we're always giving within our sort of clinical practices and then giving within our homes and our families. But for any mom or for anyone who is sort of in a helping role, it's so easy to lose ourselves in that. And so for me, it was very fascinating. I think first and foremost, I wasn't getting enough sleep, which then suppressed my immune function, which then led me to, developing influenza. And from there, things just spiraled downwards. So It was like a cascade of events
and
that led me.
You tell your patients, make sure you sleep. That's very important. That's like number one, like prescription.
Yes.
Sleep, right?
Yes. And unfortunately, in my case, I love sleep. I can't function without sleep. But my little guy, who was 2 at the time, he didn't know that his mama needed so much sleep. So he was sort of, I'm not going to blame it on him, but he was a big sort of impetus to the getting run down in the first place. So, self-care, it's not something we're taught. That's the biggest thing. And really, if you look, I love Elizabeth Gilbert talked about this when Oprah interviewed her. And she said, in the English dictionary, there's only one definition for selfish. And oftentimes what I've heard from so many people, a lot of my patients, is that if I'm taking care of myself and my needs, that means something else is going to be neglected, non-prioritized, that sort of thing. And that's selfish. And I loved when Elizabeth Gilbert said, that is not selfish. It's like putting your oxygen mask on so that you can, have the oxygen and have the energy to be able to help other people.
And that's exactly what we do at Bliss, right? Like, this is what we're trying to get people like you and people like amazing presenters that come. It's just so you need to learn, we need to learn to put that oxygen mask first so that we can continue going and giving and giving and giving, as long as everything inside of us in every aspect, it's filled with everything we need in order to sort of carry on. So let's talk about essential oils, because that's a big part now of your life, but it's also, I want you to explain what is essential oils, like why it's so, what's the craze about essential oils? Yes, some people might know that it's just this, but what is it? Can you just go into a little detail of what is it? Why is it so crazy now?
Sure. And you know what? People are going to have to come to Bliss so they can learn more.
You'll see Stephanie, like she's like, here. You do for 48 hours. So, but just, what is it?
So essential oils aren't new. They're not a fad. Mm-hmm. They're a thing of the past. And they were our medicine prior to pharmaceuticals sort of entering North American society. So there's many cultures who still use essential oils as their first line of health support on every level: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, environmental. And prior to me sort of having my own experiences when I was emotionally, mentally, and physically burned out, which were so profound for me. I mean, I had 14 years of natural health background, and I was a product of the product. I mean, I lived the natural lifestyle, and I never experienced anything so profound. So that really tweaked my curiosity of how do these work? And essential oils are really gifts of the earth. I mean, Mother Nature intends for us to, and provides for us what we need to heal, but also what we need to thrive. And I think that there's so many people who are just surviving, but on a cellular level and on an emotional, mental level, we're just surviving. We're barely hanging on. So we don't have the energy, the vitality, the radiance that is possible. And I think a lot of people create a new normal for themselves too, which oftentimes is not normal. So essential oils are from plants, and they are sort of the immune defensive mechanism. They are the protection, the repair, the regenerative chemistry that helps to keep the plant thriving and sort of attracts pollinators and repels predators. And not that we have to do that. We don't have to be attracting, hopefully, pollinators but yeah, it really is the essence of the plant that keeps the plant healthy and vital. And so our bodies can recognize that naturally occurring chemistry. There's nothing synthetic about it, at least with the brand that I represent. It's very pure. And so our cells can recognize that chemistry and can utilize it to keep us healthy on a cellular level. And the emotional benefits of the essential oils just blow my mind every day. It's really my passion, and I love, we're human beings, so we all experience so many different emotions on a daily basis, and I love sharing with people how they can feel what they want to feel by simply inhaling these essential oils.
And would it have the same effect in every person, or like how do you know that essential oil is actually doing something that might do okay for one and one for the other? So how does one be like you say, in experimenting, but how are essential oils utilized that you are getting the most benefit and not getting a reaction from it that you don't want?
So we're all different biochemically, and that's where the experimentation piece comes in. And I know anyone from a Western sort of mindset and approach to healthcare would hear that word experiment and think, you shouldn't be doing that, you can't be doing that. But if we're looking at, physically, there's so much chemistry. So one drop of essential oil has, upwards of hundreds of naturally occurring chemical constituents in it. So they're all working sort of together, and your own body will utilize the chemistry it needs to protect. So yes, we do have to sort of find what works for us, but I like to empower and educate people so that they feel confident in their own homes, utilizing essential oils for the benefit of supporting the health of themselves and their families. From an emotional perspective, every single oil has a multitude of physical health benefits, but every oil has certain emotional benefits. So some of my favorites would be peppermint, which is called the oil of a buoyant heart. So
I know that's what I wanted to get to. I wanted you to try and give us a taste.
Yes.
Of, give us an example of one, so people want to come, want more from you.
Yes.
So give us a taste of, talk about, for example, peppermint. What does that do? How can you use it? Where is it important? And then we'll leave it at that, because we want people to just really, learn more and reach out so that they can actually find out more about essential oils.
Yeah, and like I said, the emotional piece is one of my favorites, because I think we all need it. We all need support on every level, but emotionally, people are really struggling. And so peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. So if you feel heavy-hearted or grief or downtrodden or pessimistic, when you inhale an essential oil, our sense of survival, our sense of smell is intimately connected with our sense of survival. And it has to be, because this is a survival mechanism. So if we were to smell gas or toxic fumes or nauseous chemicals, right away our nervous system flips a message to our adrenal glands on our kidneys to say, get out of there, that's dangerous. So the reverse goes that when we smell something like pure essential oils, we get this whole cascade of events start happening within our brain and nervous system. Sometimes it can calm us, sometimes it can invigorate us, and so it really depends on what we need. But, peppermint is one. Bergamot is one of my favorite. It's the oil of self-acceptance. And so if you find yourself in a place or a space where you are being negative towards yourself, you're not accepting yourself for who you are and loving yourself unconditionally as you are, then this is an oil that can help you to sort of shift through that.
Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't know that, but I drink a lot of Earl Grey, which has a lot of bergamot, but I know it's not the same as essential oil, but that's a really cool tip.
Maybe you need to smell your tea more.
I know. I do love that tea, though. I have it in white, in green, and they're all with bergamot. So I do drink part of it. But yeah, and for peppermint, I use it a lot as well when I have pain, like when it's not emotionally, but it's just back pain, or like I have a migraine, and I use it, and it does help. Also, when my stomach is really upset, and I put it in water, just at 1 drop, it's enough. And also it's just does wonder. Yeah, peppermint, it's like I go to all the time for, like, I have it, like you use it in my bathroom. It's right there in my medicine cabinet.
Absolutely. And the versatility of use of these is, one essential oil will replace so many things in your medicine cabinet, in your kitchen. You can clean with peppermint, you can use it emotionally, and that's the same for so many different essential oils. So yeah, it's just, I feel very blessed that sort of out of a dark sort of time in my life where, you know, my whole ideal of my perfection, which I certainly never thought that I was perfect, but I always strived to, you know, work towards being better and, you know, that sort of thing. And then the vulnerability piece hit when, you know, I had to admit that I don't know how to take care of myself, or I'm not doing a very good job at taking care of myself in this moment. So, you know, out of that time and space came something so beautiful in my life that now I get to share with so many other people. So I'm you know, I'm really fortunate that there's a silver lining, and there always is a silver lining.
That's true. And we're super honored that you're coming back and that you're sharing, as you see, you know, Stephanie has almost passion about it, that her class is really fun. It's very useful, a lot of little tools, so you don't want to miss this. Otherwise, you know, you can be in touch with Stephanie. So we'll leave you contacts and how to register, but also if you have any questions, comments at the bottom of the video, and you know, Stephanie will answer any of your questions. And thank you, Stephanie, for joining us. And sorry for the technical difficulties, but this is perfect. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. I can't wait. And I hope everyone watching this, like I said, will register. I look forward to meeting you there, and I look forward to spending time with Gabby, learning more in the kitchen.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Mwah. Thank you.
Mwah.